So, hi everyone, it's good to be back. And again, thanks for everybody that's dropped in and listened to the podcast so far. Again, great to hear your feedback, different comments. Last week's one about the training, a few people have commented on it, and it is a difficult one to kind of find the right path to take. And since doing that podcast, I've had numerous applications in for NVQ level 2s. And also for training requests. And it's, for me as an active trainer, getting the right route for somebody is a key part. We're all different. Like I said in last week's podcast about getting the right key to fit the right lock, understanding how our site technicians, who I deal with, take on learning, what they understand about learning, or what they understand about assessments. It can be a very kind of nerve-wracking time for some of our learners. And I would say a lot of the learners that I encounter doing their NVQ level 2 is most probably the first time they've been put into an exam environment. Well, I don't like to call it an exam, but more of a being tested, being watched. Nothing worse than having somebody standing over you while you're doing your activities, which you might do regularly, quite easily, with very little pressure. But when somebody's standing behind you, watching you, possibly videoing you, I use a lot of video evidence in portfolios. It's a great way of substantiating what's been done on site, but also the points where I might question the learner. Obviously, when I'm doing NVQ assessing, I try and question the learner at an appropriate time, not midway through a complex detail or when they're trying to, resolve an issue. So, but like I say, it can be quite daunting. Now, there's been a couple of incidents where, first of all, applications have been requested. A company rings me up, says we've got 4 learners, great guys, been doing it years, know the ins and outs of it. So I send the application form over to the companies and ask for the learners. Now, multiple things might happen here, and some companies will return all the applications populated by somebody in the office. They all come back in a PDF format, all typed in, all the answers the same, all the questions to the application all answered the same way. Now, straight away, it makes sense that I go and question that. Why are they all answering the same question, and have all the learners got access to Adobe writers to populate PDF forms? So, straight away companies consider that. Let your learner answer the question, because they're going to be answering the questions to me as part of their assessment. So at that point, it's no good the company's filling in the application and sending them back to me. Likewise, some of the answers or some of the applicants might put in there, or the company that's filling it in for them will put in things about British Standard 8485 and British Standard 8102 for waterproofing, giving a lot of guidance and reference to that. So the poor learner is up against it when I come to meet them and say, I see on your application you've put that you've got a knowledge and understanding of British Standard 8485. So the learner will then look, I've not filled this in. Now, normally I don't let the learners get to this stage, because I would know at that point if they are filling in applications about knowledge of 8485, then maybe a phone call prior to meeting them can make them understand or appreciate what they understand, because some learners do have a very basic knowledge that it's the design element. Likewise with the application, I get quite a few applicants come back with a lot of blanks in the form. So, for example, one of the questions on the application is about understanding of guidance and rules and regulations that we have to adhere to. Why do I ask this in their application? Well, laws and regulations are the backbone of everything we do. And as part of the NVQ level 2, likewise for the level 3 in a supervisory role, and also for those doing the level 4, we talk about legislation and guidance. So having an understanding for our level 2s, very baseline level, but we should be able to understand things like the Health and Safety at Work Act. It's the pivotal act that we have to deal with on site and our working activities, well, for all of us in every activity. But when forms come back and they're left completely blank, they've got no knowledge and understanding, hence why I've popped out on my YouTube channel some legislation guidance for the level 2 learners. But sending forms back with complete blanks in them will, put a referral back to the learner to possibly go and do a bit more studying, have a little look somewhere and see what's going on. And another one, we ask really about some ground gases. What gases are they likely to encounter or be putting protection measures in for? And again, when they come back blank, or some of the gases that have been mentioned aren't relevant to the ground gas environment. So we have to question this, because it's key. I don't want to be setting the learners up to fail. So by trying to iron these out at a prior learning stage is key for me. So for company owners, people, training managers that are filling in these applications, think before you fill it in and let the learner fill it in, because it will identify where the gaps are in the knowledge and understanding. Another scenario that's recently come up as well is where technicians on site, predominantly non-skilled or, in other occupations, have encountered a verifier on site, and the work has been questioned about skill levels, what their knowledge, understanding, but normally it's from failings that the verifier has picked up on. So when the learners or the trades that are doing this have said, well, how do we get to an NVQ level 2? I think we need to make it known within the industry that it's not just a case of, ring up an NVQ assessor and he'll sign you up and you're straight onto the NVQ, because we go back to what I previously talked about, is that prior knowledge and understanding. So I think it's quite key that verifiers out there will have pathways to signpost failed projects to where to go and get the training, rather than just say, well, you need to get an NVQ level 2, then I'll be happy to sign you off. The NVQ level 2, yes, it should demonstrate the competencies of the technician, and we work very hard to make sure that they're ticking all the boxes of the occupational standards, all 144 of them. But getting that training in can certainly be beneficial. And if you've got teams that are working on the lower risk, the CS2s or the Amber 1 projects out there, that I know the margins, the cost effectiveness of getting a skilled workforce into lower risk sites, often that doesn't pay out for the contractors. So, you are going to meet ground workers, you are going to meet screeders, you are going to meet bricklayers doing this work. So all things, think about that training route. I'm happy to talk to anybody on that training path. And there's other routes out there as well. But certainly get in touch, let us know. And, training is what I'm passionate about. I love sharing as much as we can get out there, and really to try and make the industry better. So thanks again. It's a kind of follow-up to last week's one on the education. And I did look at the poll. The poll was put out on LinkedIn the other day. I'm just waiting for the results of that to come through, and I will be acting on it. So today's purely audio. I know a lot of people say we like a bit of audio or we like predominantly video. So I'm actually back from my travels, from my annual leave, and I'm going to start getting some more video evidence in there so that we can discuss more of those topics. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Great to have you on board, and look forward to catching you next time. See you soon. Bye now.